Right, so today we are going to start planning our painted rack. The goals of this rack project are to plan a rack that design that fills the space and uses a clever way to show your image, makes the viewer smile or think, and uses colors that stand out or contrast with each other. So colors that stand out or contrast would be a light color and a dark color, or two complementary colors, so colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. So I first took my rack that I was going to use and I put it down in my box and I traced around it so that I could get a similar rack shape. I designed it and then I colored it, and then over here I wrote down the colors that I'm going to use. You need to use at least 3 colors. I'm using white, black, and then a teal or a blue-green color. Once I have this planned, I can go ahead and start on my rack. I'm going to start by writing my name on the back with a sharpie, and then your class code. So I put 3 CIC like I'm in Mrs. Chickenalwitz's class and my name. I'm going to start painting my rack. I'm going to start with my base color, which is going to be white, and that works well for a base color also because it's the lightest of the colors. My design has white and blue, green, and black in it, but I could just paint the whole area of my rack surface here white, and then these other colors would easily layer on top of white since it's a light color. To paint, I would want to put an art smock on. I'm using acrylic paint. Acrylic paint doesn't wash out of your clothes. I've gotten my colors that I need. You'll probably just need to get your base color first, and then if you get done with that and it's dry enough, you could come back and get your other colors. I have a cup of water to clean my brush out, and then a brush that would be the right size to paint the whole rack, and I could use a bigger brush for this. I've also grabbed a couple of smaller brushes. I might need one of these to touch up the edges of my shape. So I'm going to start by getting my brush just damp in the water. I have paper towel too, and I can dry it off on that. You could put your rack either on your sheet here as you're painting it, or if you want to put a newspaper down, that would be good too. The paint does not come out of clothes or off the tables very well, so you want to be aware of that. I'm going to start painting by just getting a little bit of paint on my brush. I don't want to get paint up on the metal part of the brush or fill all the bristles. So when I start to paint, I could start around the edge of my shape, just like if you were coloring with crayons or markers or colored pencils. Could outline the shape first. So there, I've outlined the shape. Some goals that I'm thinking about when I'm painting is making nice clean edges. Right now I have some globs of paint within my white space that I want to smooth out, but my edge around is fairly clean, and I achieve that by pulling the brush in one direction, making sure that there's enough paint on my brush, and if my brush starts to run out or it starts to make a rough line, I would refill it. And then now I can come back and smooth out those lumps and then fill in my shape. It looks like this paint might need a second coat of this base color because I can still see the color of the rack through it, so I would make sure to do that. I would have to let this first layer dry for a few minutes, and then I could paint my second coat. So there's my first layer. My base coat, if it was good to go, I'd just let it dry and then go get my paint for my next layers.